series, the very end of our series, the finale of the series. Tonight we're going to talk about the actual goings on of the person who has basically a teenage mentality emotionally, but they are very much a 30-year-old in the body physically. So, let us commence. One of the things that makes the person a bit challenging to deal with is that they have something called magical thinking. Magical thinking means that they believe things or people will change without action actually being taken on the part of that person or that circumstance. For instance, they'll say things like, well, he's going to get away from that lifestyle because I'm enough and I can be the exchange for whatever he's doing. Whether that's, inappropriate activities or, I don't know, whatever the person might be into that's illegal, immoral, wrong, etc., not healthy. They feel that the person's going to change because they can be a good replacement for whatever they're doing, and that if they're good enough, if the person is good enough, the woman is good enough, then that person will totally forget about that lifestyle, even though that's been a pattern for theirs of them for like years and years. That's magical thinking. Um, Thinking that, well, so and so is going to a support group, so now he's going to be a perfect human being. He's going to be kind to everybody. He's not going to resort to his old ways. That's magical thinking. That's not realistic. Fantasy love. Fantasy love means that this person believes that there is a connection with another person that that person that they think they're connected to does not agree with. They see them as like a good friend, a really best friend, but nothing more than that. Yet the person in the fantasy love, in their mind, they create this person to be Mr. Wonderful, Mrs. Wonderful, and the person of their dreams who they're going to end up with and have babies with and live happily ever after together with. Again, fantasy love. Speeding up relationships. Somebody that is emotionally immature will try to get into a relationship very, very quickly, usually for fear of that relationship fizzling out. Children do not like the process of things. They don't like things to take time. They want immediate gratification. They don't like waiting to get to know somebody. They want instant connection, instant bond, instant boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. So there's no friendship. It's just very quick dating and sometimes even marriage, like real, real quick. I actually knew a person that did that. Now, thankfully, maybe thankfully, their marriage worked out, but there was also a lot of abuse, there was alcoholism, and this person just felt like, well, he's the one, so if this is what he does, if he drinks and abuses me, then I'm just going to put up with it because I know that I love him and I know that he's meant to be in my life. Okay? The next thing is not wanting to share their partner. A lot of jealousy in immature relationships. Anything or anyone the partner is connected to becomes suspect and becomes a source of insecurity and defensiveness for this person. They feel like kind of like the child that can't have the parent all to themselves. But this time it's not a parent, it's just another person or another situation, and they're jealous of it. A lot of times, people that are emotionally immature will stay in abuse versus being alone. They feel like the devil they know is better and easier to deal with than the devil they don't know. Um, they have an unhealthy need for their partner. They're very clingy. They have very unrealistic and high expectations of the partner. They expect them to do everything perfectly all the time. Make sure they call them, make sure they give them gifts, make sure they're always there on time, can't be a minute late, that kind of thing. It's all emotional immaturity in relationships. Security delays. Again, this is basically like the delayed gratification. Resisting change in general for fear of the unknown. They would rather stay in something that's familiar than venture off into something they don't know how it's going to turn out. This person fears criticism and fears social interaction. They may have a social phobia or social anxiety. They have a fear of failing, so they don't try new things because they're afraid it'll mess up. They'll say things like, I'll do whatever when I feel better. I'll quit drinking when I feel better. I will study my homework when I feel better. When I feel more confident and comfortable. That, by the way, that's the cat knocking the plate down to get some food. There's always something else that they got to do first before they can do what they need to do. Um, let's see. They will believe somebody purposely hurt them or was out to get them, even if there's no proof of it, even if that person that was the furthest thing from their mind. We talked about that a little bit in the first video as well. They feel like nobody understands how hard it is for them. Nobody has it as hard as they do, and nobody gets them. There's something called a false smallness. Appearing innocent and not knowing things causes people to kind of fawn over them and try to help them and feel sorry for them. And they do this on purpose so that they look small and helpless because they just really feel like knowing something would almost be a sort of conceited thing. By the way, if these are repeats, please forgive me because I may be repeating myself a bit. I don't know. Function delays. Sometimes in growing up, these people had to hide that they were struggling with stuff in school. Like maybe they didn't read real well. Maybe they didn't do math very well. So they really tried to hide that. Because if they looked anything less than perfect, they didn't like themselves. They feel that there's a fear of doing things wrong, so they just don't attempt to do them, or they do them very quickly, or they do them kind of under the radar because they don't want to be seen as messing up. They're hiding that you don't know how, let's see, hiding that you don't know how something works. Oh, sometimes if they know how to do something, they'll hide that they know how to do it just so they don't get asked to do it, put on the spot. In one of the cases I was reading, one of the girls who was very emotionally immature didn't realize that a check engine light meant to actually check the engine in her car. So they have to keep track of that stuff, but it's hard for them because they're emotionally immature. They lack self care a lot of times. They don't wash their hair. Some of them don't bathe. Some don't use deodorant. They just feel like, why bother? I'm just going to be me and throw caution to the wind. They have a childlike belief that they can work with very little sleep, eat bad foods, and stay healthy. They don't take care of themselves at all. Okay, let's talk about negative coping strategies delay. So a teenager does not or needs to look perfect for managing shame. They're afraid to go out looking less than perfect because people will make fun of them. People will say that they're less than. People will mock them. A teenager does that, but a teen in an adult body does that too. It's all about image. They will eat to distract from their emotions sometimes. They don't want to feel sad. They don't want to feel depressed or overly anxious or anything like that. They will eat to distract themselves. They often are high achievers that want to seek to gain approval. These are teen things. Okay, adults are workaholics, substance abuse users. They feel that they need to be perfect. They need a coffee break before work, for instance. They don't really need it, they think they need it. They need to spend money to earn the approval of others. I mean, they feel like they have to buy their way into friendships. They have video game excess because that's a fantasy thing and they love to live in fantasy. So they love becoming other characters and playing that. And they watch TV in excess. That's another thing. So if you're with somebody like this, please, try to gently ask them to get help. Even if they don't, you need to decide whether it's worth it to stay in that relationship or if you need some outer counseling or something to direct you in the right way. But anyway, I'm going to go for now. It is bedtime here, actually. But I wanted to give you that brief overview for part 2. And yeah. So the biggest thing with these types of people is seek counseling. Even if you decide to stay in a friendship with them, get counseling so you know how to talk to them, how to interact with them, so you don't take things personally and destroy your own health. mentally and otherwise. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm going to head to bed now, but I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night, and I'll see you soon. God bless.